This conference will now be recorded.
Very good. Now let's see here. Okay, let's see here, please. As I said yesterday, we have installed the SAP Commerce. We have installed the SAP Commerce with this syntax. We have installed the SAP Commerce with this syntax. And before installation, only bin folder was there. After installation, we got 5 additional folders. And what is the use of those? Out of that, we have studied the config folder. In the config folder, we have two important files. Local.properties file and local extensions.xml file. Then what is the use of those? We have discussed it. That's it. Then the next step is step number, what is the number? 6, right? 6 or 7. Whatever may be the number here. Number is not a big deal. So step number 7. Once you installed it, in SAP Commerce, we have lots of code, right? That code we need to build. So therefore, step number 8 is do the build. Okay, as I mentioned, for build purpose, we are using which tool? Ant tool. For build purpose, we are using Ant tool. And please remember this Ant tool recognizes the commands. Please understand each and every statement. This Ant tool recognizes the commands from build.xml file. So there is a build.xml file. You can see here, please go to your software, go to Hybris, go to platform, then there will be build.xml. So you can see this is a build number and there is a, yeah, you can see this file, build.xml file. So this is where we have the commands meaning defined. So that means, let's say I go to here, just understand this one, please. I go to here, I typed ant space, ant is what? The tool. Ant is what? Tool. Ant space RRS, I typed it and hit enter. So if I hit enter, what it is telling? Can you observe this one, please? I typed ant RRS and hit the enter. The moment I typed it, it is checking the RRS meaning in the build.xml file. Am I having RRS in this? Am I having RRS in this? It's not there. That's why it is telling that I don't know what is RRS. So that means ant tool understand the command whatever you are typing here. Okay, ant tool understand the command whatever you are typing here from the build.xml. So that's why I'm saying step number 7 is do the build. For build purpose, we are using the ant tool. Ant tool uses or understands, okay, or uses the commands from build.xml. Now in build.xml, okay, in build.xml, we have so many commands. So few important commands are statements. You can say statements also. Okay, few important commands or statements are. Someone is not muted, please be on mute. Okay, first one is ant is a tool. You say ant all. Second one is you can also say ant clean all. We'll understand the meanings one by one. Third one is we say ant initialize. Okay, fourth one is we say ant. Okay, you can see the commands list here. You can very well find this. So I said what? Ant all, right? You can see ant all. So there is a ant clean and all. We'll understand the differences. Okay. So then we have extgen. Okay. So we have module gen and module gen, and we have ant production. Then we have something called ant customize. Okay, and module gen, and customize, and initialize. You can see these are all the different statements or commands or targets, and targets. You can also call it as ant targets. And you can see there is a and update system. and update system. Like this, we have bunch of the targets defined. Like that, bunch of the targets defined in the build.xml file. But these are the important ones from this. These are the
We can give
important
and hyphen period. We can give and hyphen.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so as I am telling, right, so step number 7 is what? To do the build. For build purpose, we are using the ant tool, and uses the targets or commands which are defined in the build.xml. So in the build.xml, we have so many targets or statements. So important ones are, these are the important ones. So we will understand one by one. Okay, we will understand one by one. Now our step is what? Our step is build. So if you want to do the build, then what you need to do is that syntax. Let me show you the syntax. So build syntax. So this is important for functional, technical, everyone here. So you just need to remember this. So you need to go to the platform. You need to go to the platform. You can type ant all, or you can type ant clean all. So you can type ant all or ant clean all. So this is the syntax. Can you please pay attention? Can you please pay attention? So what is the syntax? This is the syntax. You need to type this particular statement or this particular target. Now, as I told you, for build purpose, we can use ant all or ant clean all. So what is the statement I am telling? So for build purpose, okay, for build purpose, we can use ant all or ant clean all. Now, what should be our next question? Tell me. What should be our next question? For build purpose, we can use ant all or ant clean all. Then what should be our next question? You should ask.
Other commands when we use.
Other commands anyway we will study. Okay, but at least from this you should ask. Question number 1 is, so when to use, and I am telling that what for build purpose we can use ant all or ant clean all. I'm using the statement called or. Then you should ask the question, if it is a or, then when to use ant all, okay, and when to use ant clean all. When to use ant all and when to use ant clean all. Or there is one more question. There is one more question. What happens if I type? What happens when we do ant all? And what happens when we do ant clean all? So this is, we need to understand, because there is a big difference. Ant clean all, right? So what happens when we do ant all, or what happens when we do ant clean all? For this, what I will do is that instead of I draw the diagram from scratch, I will take the diagram which is already created before in the previous batch, so that we can save some time and explain. So first let's focus on what happens when we do ant all, what happens when we do ant clean all. For that, as I am telling, so let's take this, okay, let's take the diagram which is created before, so that we can save some time. So this is what the notes you are going to get. You don't need to type. So in the notes, everything is available. Now we are discussing ant all. So you can see here, hit enter. Yeah. Yeah, this is the diagram I want. So let me take this and put into the paint. Then we can understand. Can you please pay attention? Can you please pay attention? So let's say I have a source file called a.java. Let's say I have a source file called a.java with a couple of lines of code. And we already have a build for it. So that means we already have a dot class file for it. What is the dot class file? It is a compiled file. What is the a.java? It is the source code file, and the a.class is compiled file. So this is the source code file. This is the compiled file. This is the source code file. This is the compiled file. Now, let's say I have a.java with some lines of code, and we have done the build, and after the build we are getting compiled code. We are getting compiled code. So that means in the a.class file, I have the compiled code for each line. So for this line, assume that this is the compiled code. For this line, assume that this is the compiled code. For this line, assume that this is the compiled code. Like this, we have all the compiled code in the .class file. In a simple word, functional people, you can remember like this. Let's say we write the code in the a.java. We write the code in the, we write the code in this file a.java. Then computer or system, or Java understands compiled, or the compiled code will be available in this a.class file. So this is the compiled code, or this is also called as bytecode. Compiled code or source. This is called source code. This is called compiled code. That's it. Now let's come back here, please. So the scenario is what? I have a.java, which is a source code file where we write the code, and we have done the build, and I have the equivalent compiled code file, bytecode file. Now my manager is asking me to write one more line of code in this, and I have written here, and I have written here. Now I have two options. I can use Antall for build or Antclinal for build. Now I have two options, Antall for build or Antclinal for build. Let's say I am doing Antclinal. If I do Antclinal, Antclinal will check for this a.java, is there any build file already? Is there any compiled file already? Yes. If yes, it will delete that completely. It will delete that completely and recreate the build file, recreate the .class file from scratch. So that means it will recreate the compiled file for line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, and whatever you added and whatever there before. So that is what happened when you do the ant clean all. Now the question is, what happen if I do antall? What happen if I do antall? If I do antall, so this will check for this file, is there a build already? Is there a .class file already? Yes. If yes, it will use as it is and try to embed or try to put the newly inserted code, compiled code in this. Try to insert the newly added compiled code in this. That is the difference between Antclinal and Antall, or that is what exactly happens when we do Antclinal and Antall. Now let me ask a question. Which one is doing more work? Antall is doing more work or Antclinal is doing more work? Which one is doing more work? Antclinal is doing more work or Antall is doing more work?
Antclinal.
Antclinal is doing more work. So that's why if you see here, can you observe this one, please? If you see here, if I do Antclinal, how much time it is taking in my machine? If I do Antclinal, how much time it is taking in my machine?
10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes plus. Now if I do Antall, how much time it is taking?
3 minutes.
What is the reason? The reason is this one. So in case of Antall, it is not going to delete the previously compiled code or previously built. It will just use as it is and try to insert the newly added compiled code in this. That's the Antall. In case of Antclinal, it will delete everything whatever there before and recreate from scratch. That means it is doing the more work. So that's why time wise, this will take more time, this will take less time. Now I said what this is taking in my machine, this is taking 10 minutes, right? And this is taking 3 minutes. So you can see the pictures also here. So it is taking 10 minutes. It is taking 3 minutes. So that means now you should ask one question. Okay, if it is taking 3 minutes, why can't I use ant all every time? Why I need to use ant clean all? Or the question is when to use ant all, when to use ant clean all then? When to use ant all, when to use ant clean all then? So further the answer is if you are first time, better do ant clean all once. If you are first time, better do ant clean all once. Okay, then sometimes what happened, please observe here. So let's say you have done so much of code in this and your code is correct and you have done the ant all, and you are checking the results. Somehow results is not reflecting properly. Results is not coming properly. Results is not coming properly. Then do ant clean all once. Why results may not come properly? The reason is if you see the logic, right? In case of ant all, it is trying to inject the newly added compiled code in this. Sometimes because of the complex methods, because of complexity and all, sometimes it may not do properly. In that case, do the ant clean all once. So therefore, when to do the ant clean all? First time do ant clean all. So next one is what? Okay, next time onwards go with the ant all. Or let's say you have done ant all and your code is correct. Your code is correct, but somehow these situations are very rare, but the chances are there. But somehow results are not showing as expected. Results are not showing as expected. Then do ant clean all once and try. So this is the second choice. So this is the first choice, or this is the first time, do the ant clean all. Then this time also do the ant clean all. Then one more combination is, so let's say you have done lots of data model changes. You have done data model changes. What is the meaning of data model changes? Data model changes means creating a table, creating a column and all. Creating a table, creating a column, creating a relation and all. If you are doing all these things, better to do ant clean all once. Better to do ant clean all once. The remaining situations, it's okay to go with the ant all. That's it. That's it. Okay. So now let's recap this step once. After installation, you can do the build once. For build purpose, we have ant tool, or we are using the ant tool. Ant uses the targets which are defined in the build.xml file, and we have bunch of the targets. For now, we are focusing these two, ant all and ant clean all. So for build purpose, we can use ant all or ant clean all. Now the question is when to use ant all, when to use ant clean all. So, or what happens when I do ant all? What happens when I do ant clean all? For that I explained here. Now ant all is taking less time, ant clean all is taking more time. Then what should be our next question? When do I use ant all? When do I use ant clean all? For that I defined 3 scenarios. One is what? First time do ant clean all. Next time onwards go with the ant all. Second situation is what? You have done an ant all. Your code is correct, but somehow your results is not showing as expected. Then try to do ant clean all and check once. Okay. And check. So then the third combination is what? You have done lots of data model changes. What is the meaning of data model changes? Start remembering the words here. Data model changes means what? Creating a table, creating a column, creating a relation and all. Then also better to do ant clean all once. That's it. This is how you can do the build. Now if you have any questions on this, you can ask me. Else we'll go to the next step. Any questions on the build?
What about ant customize?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. The next step is after the build. As I told you, after installation, we are going to get this kind of ready-made or ready to use site. After installation, we are going to get this kind of ready to use site. Or after installation, we are going to get this sample site, right? Now, I am able to see the results of this site because there are lots of tables created behind. There are lots of tables created behind. Let's say I click on this. So these are all called what? Categories. That means there is a category table. Now I click on this. These are all products. That means there is a product table. Now I am adding this item to cart. That means there is a cart table. You can see I am adding the item to cart. There is a cart table. Then I click on register. That means there is a user table. So what I'm trying to say that after installation, this kind of ready-made site we get it, we are able to see the results of this site because lots of tables are created behind. So what I'm trying to say, after installation, we get this ready to use sample site. We are able to see the results of this site because there are lots of supporting tables created behind. There are lots of supporting tables created behind. Example, what are the tables? Can you tell me? Cart table, order table, user table, product table. Like this, lots of tables are created behind. Okay, next step is what? After build. What I'm trying to say that after installation, we are going to get this kind of ready-made site or sample site or ready to use site. We are able to see the results of this site because lots of supporting tables are created behind. Example, cart table, order table, user table, product table, like that. Now question number 1. Did we create, please understand these points. Did we create or did we write code or design for these tables? When I say for these tables, so for cart table, order table, user table, like that. Did we do those?
No.
Did we write the code or design for these tables? Answer is no, we did not do. So answer is no, we did not do. Then what? Then what? SAP Commerce by default providing design or code for these tables. Design or code for these tables. SAP Commerce by default providing design or code for these tables. Now you should ask one question. What is the question you should ask? SAP Commerce by default providing design or code for these tables, right? Now what is the question you should ask?
Can we use this in customer?
Where can we, very good. Where can we see SAP Commerce provided tables design or code? Tables design or code. So the answer is there is something called *-items.xml files. Okay, so there we can find it. We have a file, we have files called, I said asterisk. Why I am saying asterisk? Because there are so many files. Example, you can see there is a core-items.xml file. Okay, CMS2-items.xml file. So catalog-items.xml file. Like that, there are so many catalog-items.xml file, and so on, so on. So let me show you. Let me open my Eclipse. Okay, let me show you. Let me open my Eclipse quickly. I'm just trying to open my Eclipse. Let this Eclipse open. Once Eclipse open, what we need to understand is that I am saying SAP Commerce by default provides the tables or design for the tables. Now, where can we see that tables information? where can we see SAP Commerce provided tables code or design? The answer is *-items.xml. Why I am using asterisk here? Because there are so many files: core-item.xml file, cms2-item.xml file, catalog-items.xml file, like that. See, my Eclipse is open. Now I'll close all these things. Control-Shift-R, core-items.xml. You can see. So here you can find the code for the product table and all. Okay. So you can see user table code. Yeah. core-items.xml file. I think, yeah, this case sensitive is on. That's why it is not. Yeah. Now let me turn off. Now you can say code equal to user. Code equal to user. You can see this is the user table code or user table design. Now similarly, let me type code equal to product. So you can see this is the product table design or code. Someone is not muted. Please be on mute. Thank you. Okay, now look at here, please. As I said, right, we have a core-item.xml file. That's where you have the product table code, user table code, and all. That's where you have product table code, user table code, and all.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now let's come back here, please. What I'm trying to say that we have so many files: core-item.xml file. There we have a product table code, user table code, order table code, and all. Similarly, we have one more file called cms2-items.xml. So here you have website, all these things. Okay, website related code, all these things are there. Okay, site or CMS site. So you can see CMS site, all these things. Basically, content related things are available here. Content related site, okay, pages, this kind of tables design code are there. Similarly, catalog is there. One more, catalog-items.xml file. Then what is there in this catalog versions? Those are all there. You can see catalog versions. Those are all there. You can see catalog versions. Those are all there. So here you have what kind of tables? You need to start remembering this here. Catalog version table. This kind of information is available in this file. Now can you see the conclusion, please? What I am trying to say that after installation, we are going to get this kind of ready-made site, and we are able to see the results of this site because lots of supporting tables are created behind. Now, did we write the code or design for these tables? Answer is no. Then what SAP Commerce by default providing? When SAP Commerce is by default providing, where can we see those? Those we can see in the *-items.xml file. Why I am using *-items.xml file? We have core-items.xml file, CMS2 and all. So in each file we have certain categories of tables. So here you have a product table, user table, that and all. So here you have site table, template table, page table and all. So here you have catalog table, catalog version table, and so on, so on. Now please understand this. So if you see here, this is the product table code or design. Can you please observe here, please? So this is the product table code or design. This is the product table code or design. This is the product table code or design. Good. Okay, now let's say this is what your database. Can you please pay attention? Let's say this is what your database. What is your database? Assume that Oracle database or whatever it may be. Oracle database or a Hana database, whatever may be the database. Now, do you need the product table here or this code is sufficient? This code is not sufficient. You need the product table here. So that means you need the product table here with the columns. What are the columns? Product code. Let's say this is a product table with the columns. What are the available columns in the product table? So you can see here there is one column. Qualifier is nothing but the column name. Qualifier is nothing but the column name. Then what are the columns are there in the design? What are the columns are there in the design? So product code, product name, product description, like that. Like this, we have the columns. Like this, we need the columns in the database. Now, in this, you have the products. In this, you have the products, means records. What are the products we have? If you go here, let's say I click on the jackets. This is one product, this is one product, like that. So let's say product code is P1 and name is, let's say, ABC, or let's say name is RRS, description is 1, product 2. Okay, so let's say Chenna and description is 2. Like this, you have the product table and product table design. And this is the data. This is the product table data. Please observe this one. This is the product table data. This is the product table data. Data or records. Okay, now can you please pay attention and understand the conclusion, please? What I am trying to say that SAP Commerce by default providing the product by default provide the table design or code, and this is the code. I don't want the code. I want the table and the columns. This piece I want. I'm highlighting this specifically because everyone should understand this. This piece I want. This green color piece I want. So how do I get that? You can get that by performing an operation called initialization. So therefore, step number 8 is do the initialization. So that means if you go to the command window, can you see the syntax, please? Can you see the syntax, please? Go to the command window and here type and initialize. INITIALIZE. Okay, type and initialize. When you type and initialize, what exactly happening now? Tell me. When you type and initialize, what exactly happens now? Tell me.
Tables will fill up in database.
Ah, very good. So when you type and initialize, it will take this design. Okay, it will take this design or code. This and initialize will take the design or code and convert into equivalent table. That's it here. That is the purpose of this particular initialization step. That is the purpose of this particular initialization step. I want to make sure everyone, whether you are a functional or technical, whatever it may be, you should understand why we are doing this step. Okay. I'm repeating this conclusion one more time.
So Chenna, one thing, if you do the initialize, does it mean that it will recreate the tables as per the design, new design?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. What is the step number 8? Do the initialization. What is the meaning of initialization now? What I am trying to say that after completing the installation, we are going to get this kind of ready to use sample site. This ready to use sample site, we are able to see the results because lots of tables are created, supporting tables are created behind. Now, did we code that? Did we do the design for that? No, SAP Commerce is already providing. SAP Commerce is already providing. That means where it is providing in the items.xml file. You can see here you have that. Now, what we need to do from us? We need to execute this code. How do I execute the code? By running this command. So when you run this command, what happens? It will take the table's design or code and convert into equivalent to table, convert into equivalent to table in the database. That's it here. Convert into equivalent to table in the database. That's it. That is the purpose of this particular step. Okay. So therefore, the table design is available in this file. Then what we should do? Then what we need to do? We need to execute that code. We need to execute that tables design or code in a simple word. For that, this is the step. For that, this is the step. Now, what is the conclusion here? So what happens when I do the initialization? What happens when we do the initialization? Tell me the conclusion now. Database will be created. Database will be created. What happens when we do the initialization? Database will be created. Okay, now let me show you the difference. Let me show you what was there before initialization. Can you observe this one, please? If I go to the, can you please pay attention? If I go to Hybris, if I go to the data, before initialization, am I having anything? Before initialization, am I having anything? Inside the data folder, am I having anything in the, am I having anything? No, nothing is there. So before initialization, nothing is there. So before initialization, no data. Okay, now after initialization, so now I am performing the initialization. So let's say we are performing and initialize. After initialization, if you go and observe, after initialization, if you go and observe the data folder, you can see within the data folder, you have HSQLDB. Within the data folder, you have HSQLDB, and you can see there is a mydb.data. This is what? This is the file which is holding all our database related information. This is where you have the product table, cart table, order table, all those things. And this file is in the encrypted format. If you open it, you cannot understand. This file is in encrypted format. If you open it, you cannot understand. So this is what the HSQL DB file. This is where you have all your database after initialization. Okay, so this is where you have all your tables. So that means your cart table, your order table, your user table, all these are available in this file. And as I told you, this is the encrypted file. You cannot see it if you open. Okay, if you open this, you cannot see. So even if I try to open it, this is a big file here. Sometimes it may fail to open, but let's see. So you can see opening a huge file. Can you see the, can you read the message, please? As I said, that is a big file, right? Opening the huge file will take lots of time. That is what it is telling. So let me say yes. I said yes. That means let it open. So it will take some time here. It is not that, so you can see it is spinning. That means it is trying to open. That's a big file. Even though it opens, you cannot understand that, okay, this is the cart table, this is the order table, like that. So you can see, can you see this one, please? So
Yes,
that is what I said. It is in the encrypted format. Now you should ask one question. What is the question you should ask? So this file is in the encrypted format. Then what is the question you should ask? Are you there? Am I disconnected?
No, Chenna, you're not disconnected.
Okay, good. So what I'm trying to say that this file is in the encrypted format. I have no clue whether there is a cart table or order table or what is the data in the table and so on and so on. Then the question should be what? How can we see the HSQL DB data or database details? HSQL DB information. So that means I want to see the tables and the tables data. So in a simple word, how can we see the mydb.data information? Because it's encrypted right now, we cannot see it. How can we see it? So the answer is we can use some third-party plugins. Okay, plugins. So this is the solution one. So we can use some third-party plugins which will decrypt this and show the tables. Okay, which will decrypt this and show the tables. okay, which show the tables. Example, there is a tool called Squirrel. Example, there is a tool called Squirrel. You can use the Squirrel and do it, but these are all third party related. And if you don't want that third party related, SAP Commerce itself is providing SAP Commerce itself is providing a tool called Back Office. SAP Commerce itself is providing a tool called Back Office. SAP Commerce provides a tool that equal to Back Office. From Back Office, so in a simple word, from Back Office, we can connect, or Back Office displays the tables information, tables data. That's it here. Or we can also use HAC. So there is another tool, or SAP Commerce provides another tool that equal to HAC. From HAC also we can see some of the information, some of the database information. We can see some of the database information. But what is the best option out of all these things? We have a third-party tools, we have the Back Office, we have the HAC. But Back Office is the best one to see the table data. Back Office is the best one to see the table data. We will show that here. We will show that, we will understand it. Now let's recap this conclusion, please. So when we do the initialization, the database get created. When we do the initialization, the database get created. As I told you, before initialization, you can see there is no database. After initialization, you can see the database. If at all you are using Hsql DB, then mydb.data, this is what it is holding, all the database information. That means the tables and table data information, and it is in the encrypted format. Then how do I see this? If you want to see this, you can use the third-party tools like Squirrel and all, or you can simply use SAP Commerce provide tool called Back Office to see the tables and tables data, which we will practice in the next week. Or you can also use the SAP Commerce provide tool called HAC. From HAC also we can see some of the information. I use the word called some of the information because HAC is not meant for that purpose. But Back Office, definitely we can use it to see all the tables information, and so on, so on. Okay. Now one point, note. What is the note you need to understand? Can you please understand this one, please? Note. What is the note? When you perform ant initialization, okay, when you perform ant initialization, it is creating the database, right? It will take more time here. So maybe 1 hour to 3 hours, depends upon your machine, depends upon your PC. 1 hour to 3 hours depends upon your PC. You need to wait for it. And when this is happening, make sure your system is not going sleeping mode. That's it. So when this is happening, make sure your system is not going sleeping mode. If your system goes sleeping mode, it may work, may not work here. If your system goes in sleeping mode, it may work, may not work. It depends upon how speed it was spent that time to create the database, and so on, so on. That's it. Next, one more point. Can you please pay attention? Can you please pay attention? So SAP Commerce by default provides which database? By default provides SQL database. Now we have 2-3 questions here. Let's understand those. SAP Commerce by default provides Hsql DB. SAP Commerce by default provides Hsql DB. Now question number 1. What is the question number 1? I said SAP Commerce by default provide Hsql DB. Then the question number 1 is, where can we see the SAP Commerce provided Hsql DB information or details, connection details. Further, the answer is, can you please see this one? Further, the answer is, you can go to the software You can go to Hybris, you can go to the bin, you can go to the platform, you can open the project.properties. You can open the project.properties and search for Hsql. So you can see, so this is the Hsql DB connection. Can you please observe this one, please? This is the Hsql DB connection. Okay, so this is the Hsql DB connection. Means what is the database URL? Can you please see this one, please? What is the database URL? All these things you are observing. Okay, so what is the can you please observe here, please, one thing, database URL, right? If you see the database URL, it is like what? Hybris data directory. After that, Hsql DB. After that, what is the name? What is the name? MyDB.
MyDB.
It is created like that. That's why it is created like this. You can see this is the software, this is the Hybris, this is the data folder. So that is the meaning of this one, data directory. After data directory, what is there? Hsql DB. That's why Hsql DB got created. After that, what is the name we have given? MyDB. So that's why in the MyDB, all the tables get created. In the MyDB, all the tables get created. That's it.
Where is the data directory variable defined?
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So what is the question number 1? That's why I said question number 1. What is the question number 1? Where can we see the SAP Commerce provide Hsql DB connection details? And I told you this is where the information. So because of this only, the database get created in this location, in this file. Good. In this location, in this file. Then what is the second question? Second question is, let's say I don't want Hsql DB. As I said, in the real time, mostly we don't use Hsql DB. We may use Oracle DB or something like that. So the question number two is, let's say you are working for Chroma company. They don't want, or they want to use Oracle DB or Hana DB. Oracle DB or Hana DB. Then what to do? Further, the solution number 1. Can you please pay attention? Further, the solution number 1, I am putting yellow color. They don't want a Hana DB or they don't want a Hsql DB. They want a Hana DB. Let's go with the Hana DB. If they want Hana DB, then what I can do is that I can go to the, I will show the navigation again. Please observe here. I will go to the software. I will go to the bin. I will go to the platform and go to the file called the project.properties. Go to this file and search with Hana. First thing is that right now this is the active database connection, right? You can comment it out. Okay, I will write neatly, please understand. So even functional people also, you can understand that, okay, changing the database is not a big deal. Functional people, what they need to understand, you just need to understand, oh, how much time it will take. Oh, this will not take much time. My team will take care. That is how you should answer your company. So let's say you are explaining to the client saying that, okay, SAP Commerce by default comes up with a Hsql DB for the development purpose. Now they said, okay, oh, we don't want to use that. We want to use Oracle DB. Then you can just say that, yeah, no problem, we will point it, or our development team will take care of it. It is a simple thing. That's how you need to tell. Okay. Now coming to here, first step is what? It is by default Hsql DB. So you need to comment out. So step number 1 is comment this or remove this. If you want to remove or comment, not a matter here. Remove or comment this, because we don't want Hsql DB. That is the step number 1. Then in the step number 2, look for the Hana DB settings. So these are the Hana DB settings. Look for the Hana database settings. So these are the Hana database settings. Look for the Hana database settings. These are the Hana database settings. Now let's say HANA database is available in the Sumit machine. Then specify the Sumit machine host name. And if there is a different port number, all these things you can take care. Then driver, you need to put the equivalent driver. Then username and password to connect the database. So let's say username is Chenna and password is, let's say, RRS. Like this, you can specify the HANA DB setting so that it will connect to HANA DB and create the tables in the HANA DB. Create the tables in the HANA DB. This is the step number 2. That's it. That's it. You can take it out the Hsql DB and configure the HANA DB. That's it. So this is what you need to do. This is the solution number 1. This will work no problem. This will work no problem. This will work no problem. But this is not the best practice to do. Tell me why.
Local dot properties we need to keep.
Okay. So the question is, this is not the best practice to do. Tell me why.
Because if you upgrade, these changes will be lost.
Yes, very good. Look at here, please. What is our target? Let's say my company don't want Hsql DB. My company want HANA DB. Then what I can do? I can go here, take it out or comment the Hsql DB and configure the HANA DB. This will work no problem. This will work no problem. But this is not the best practice to do. Why this is not the best practice to do? If you observe the file, whatever I modified, that is available in the platform folder. If I observe the file, whatever I have modified, that is available in the platform folder. Then yesterday I told one statement, right? Anything which is there in the platform folder, generally we don't modify because platform is given for us. Now let's say you have, okay. So let's say today, I'm repeating that conclusion one more time. Today, let's say your company is using SAP Commerce 2011 and you have done the changes in platform project.properties. It will work no problem. Then tomorrow your company want to go with SAP Commerce 2205. If your company want to go with SAP Commerce 2205, then this platform you will replace with the latest version copy. This platform you will replace with tomorrow your company want to upgrade to 2205. Then if that is the situation, then the platform folder, this platform folder replaced with the latest version copy. Latest version means what here? 2205 copy. Hence our changes will be lost. Hence changes whatever done will be lost. That's why this is not the best practice. That's why solution 1, whatever we discussed till now, is not best practice. So therefore, what is the alternative for this file to do the changes? What is the alternative to do these changes?
In a
Local will change the
local dot property.
For this. So the alternate file for this is, okay, copy these database settings, copy the HANA settings, copy the HANA database settings. Please observe here, copy the HANA database settings and go to your software, go to Hybris, go to config. We have a local dot properties. Here you can put it. Here you can put it. So this we created for our purpose. So that's why no problem. Even though you upgrade, do whatever it is, your changes will not be lost. So this is the best practice one. This is the best practice one. So therefore alternative is what? Alternative is config local dot properties. Okay, config class local dot properties. That's it. Config local dot properties. Is that clear, everyone? How to change the database if your company want something else?
Yes, Chenna.
Okay.
So in this case, we will do the initialization after these changes, right, Chenna?
Correct. So you need to do the initialization after this. Okay, so as what I said is that SAP Commerce by default provide a Hsql DB. So if you want to use the Hsql DB for your local development, you can continue with that. If you don't want, then how to change the database? So if you want to change the database, you have two solutions. You can directly do there, which is not the best practice, or you can take that database settings. You can take the database settings and do the changes or configure it in the local dot properties. This is the best practice one. That's why solution 2 is the best practice one. Okay, solution 2 is the best practice one. That's it. So this is how you can create the database. Now my database is created, everything is good here. So once everything is good, now you can start the server. So far any questions?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. If you recap all the steps, we have downloaded the SAP Commerce software, we have unzipped the SAP Commerce software, we have set the Java path, we have set the Ant path, we have set the admin user password. After that, we have installed the CX recipe, then we have done the build, we have done the initialization, all are good. Then the final step is, once initialization is done, then you can start the server. SAP Commerce by default provides Hybris server. SAP Commerce by default provides a Hybris server. Now you should ask a question, where can we see the Hybris server? So the answer is, you can go to your software, go to platform, you can see there is a Hybris server. And you can see here, Hybris server is there 2 times. Why it is there 2 times? One is for Windows machine, one is for Mac machine. If at all Mac and all, you will use self file. If at all it is a Windows and all, you can use batch file. You can see here. That's it. So right now I am in Windows. That's why what I will do is that I will go to this location and type hybris server.bat. So this is the syntax. And type hybris server.bat. So this is the syntax, which may take around 20 minutes. This may takes around 20 minutes, depends upon your machine speed. 20 minutes depends upon your machine speed. Depends upon your PC. That's it. Now you can see here, please. Can you observe this one? In my machine, server is started. I already started here. So you can see it started and it's running. You can see it started and it's running. You can see it started and it's running. Now we did all these steps for what? We did all these steps for what? To see some results. Now the final step is step number 10, test the results. Or the question is what? The question is, we did so much of installation. The question is, what do we get after installation? What we get after installation? This is the question. What we get after installation? This is the question. Further, the first one is, we have installed CX, right? Because of CX, we get free sample B2C sites. Can you observe this one, please? We have installed the CX recipe. Because of CX recipe, we get 3 sample B2C sites. Example, you can see here. So this is the first sample B2C site we are getting, which is nothing but apparel UK, and this is the URL. Apparel UK, this is the URL. Next, we will also get one more website, one more sample site, Apparel Germany. Look at here, please. Apparel Germany, DE. But even though I typed DE, results still coming in English because it is cached. Now, how to clear the cache? If you want to clear the cache, at the URL end, type clear equal to true. Now, do you see in the German now? Do you see this German now?
Yes.
Okay, you can see the search text. You can see here register that text also. So this is the German sample website. So we get the apparel UK site, we get the apparel German site. Then we also get one more electronic site. 3 sample B2C sites we get it. So you can see this is the electronic site. You can see this is the electronic site here. Question mark site equal to electronics. ELE. So now you can see this is the electronic site. So this, like this, after installation, we get 3 sample B2C websites. Now depends upon your company requirement, you can choose the nearest one and do the changes on top of that. Let's say you are working for, let me give a simple example here. You are working, or let's say Kumar is working for Chroma company. Which is the best nearest one, apparel or electronics? Kumar is working for, let's say, Chroma company. Which is the, or let's say Kumar is working for Reliance Digital. Which is the nearest one?
Electronics one.
Electronics.
So now let's say Ram is working for Decathlon company. Which is the nearest one?
Apparel one.
Apparel. Like this, we will take the nearest one and do the changes on top of that. Do the changes on top of that to get the Chroma, to get the Reliance Digital, and so on, so on, so. So that means, let's say you are working for Reliance Digital company. You can take electronics as a base, depends upon the features, depends upon the functionalities, which whatever nearest for you. You can take that as a base and do the customer specific changes to bring this kind of look and feel, to bring their own navigations, to bring their own products, to bring their own little bit of changes. That's what we need to do in the real time. So therefore, we will take this as a base. That means that this is a site, simple example here. So let me say clear equal to true. Yeah. So we will take this as a base. What does that mean? We will take this as a base. Now you can see. Let me ask a question. What does that mean? We will take this as a base. Now Reliance company, there is a search functionality. Do I need to write the search code or I can use the search code? For Reliance company, there is a search functionality. Do I need to write the code for Reliance companies for search purpose, or can I use from here?
We can use it.
We can use it. That's what the meaning. So therefore, you can take this as a base and do the Reliance specific changes. Do the Reliance specific changes on top of this. That is what we will do in the real time. Now you can see. So here we have sample navigations. These are all we will clear and create Reliance specific navigations. Create Reliance specific navigations and so on, so on, so on. Next, come here, please. As I said, after installation, we get 3 sample B2C sites, and because we install the CX, we also get 1 sample B2B site. Only 1 here. For B2B, only 1. So that is nothing but you can see So B2B site is nothing but why B2B, and the name is Power Tools. You need to start remembering the names, and name is Power Tools. Now let's say you are working for Boeing company. Okay, let's say you are working for the Boeing company. If you are working for the Boeing company, take this as a base and to do the changes on top of this to bring the Boeing specific look and feel and specific functionalities. All right, so we will get the B2B website called the Power Tool. Now, if anyone asks, what are the different OOTP sites we get it? Tell me what is the answer. Because of CX, what kind of sites we get it? Because of CX, what kind of sites we get it? Apparel UK, Apparel Germany, Electronics, and Power Tools. Power Tools is the B2B example, and the remaining trees are the B2C examples. Next, along with these sites, we also get a tool called back office. Okay, we also get a tool called back office. Now you can see here, I will just go, this is the URL for the back office, localhost/back office. This is the URL. Okay, so this is the URL, and you need to use the username password for it. What is the username we have created? Admin, right? And what is the password we have given? Admin1234. This is the password we have given. That is the one you can enter here. That is the one you can enter here and try to log in. So this is the back office tool. Now let me ask a question. Let's go back one step. Do you remember I told this one, right? After initialization, database get created. Now you want to see what kind of tables are there, what kind of data is there, right? For that, you can use the back office. Now you can see in the back office, you can see user table data, okay, employee table data, employee type data, customer type data, okay. You can see order table data, order entries data, card data, site data, okay, promotions data, commerce data, everything you can see. So in a simple word, from back office. So can I say this way? Back office is a tool. Can I say this way? Let's understand this. Back office is the UI tool. Okay, it's a UI tool. Okay, it's a UI tool to perform or to see the tables and the tables data, and also can perform CURD operations. What does that mean? Let's understand. What is the back office? It's a UI tool to see the tables data. So am I able to see the tables? Yes, right. So you can see order table, user table, cart type, order type, title, customer, employee, and all. Now if I click on the employee table data. If I click on customer type data. If I click on company table data. So therefore it's a UI tool to see the tables and tables data, and also we can perform CURD operations. What is the meaning of CURD operations? You can see I can go on to create a company. So that means create company. Second one is what? I can update the company. You can go here and you can modify it. Modify or update. Okay, update or modify. Then third one is what? Can you tell me what is the third one? Read. Read means what? I click on this. Read means display, right? So you can see I'm able to display, I'm able to see. Then the fourth one, final one is delete. So delete means what? Let's say I want to delete all these groups. I can select it and delete it. So that's why it is a simple straightforward here. What is the back office? It's a UI tool to see the tables and tables data and perform the CURD operations. That's it. Next, fourth one is we can also get one more tool called HAC. HAC, the meaning is Hybris Administrative Console. So the name says it's an administrative console. So that means you can perform admin activities. You can perform admin activities. So this is the Hsql tool, and you can try to log in. And you can try to log in, and you can see okay, you can see, as I said, Hsql stands Hybris Administrative Console. You can see platform related operations, monitoring related operations, ARA activities, maintenance related activities, console related activities. All these things you can perform from Hsql, and we will go through these tools in detail here. We will go through these tools in details. Next, let me go to back office again. Okay, let me go to back office again. So then you take any e-commerce site. Can you please understand this? You take any e-commerce site, there will be products, right? Yes or no? There will be products.
Yes.
And to manage the products, we need some tool, right? To manage the products, we need some tool that equal to product cockpit. So therefore, we also get a product cockpit here. What is the purpose of product cockpit? Tell me now. So you take any e-commerce, there will be products. To manage the products, we need the tool that's called the product cockpit. Now you can see there is a product cockpit here. You can see there is a product cockpit here. So from here you can manage the products. That means you can go on to change the price and see which product is approved, which product is not approved. Okay, which product is having more quality data, which product is not having more quality data. All this information you can see from product cockpit. All this information you can see from product cockpit. That's it. Next, sixth one. So sixth one, same statement here. You take any e-commerce site, there will be products. Along with the products, you also have one more thing called content. What is the meaning of content? So if I go to the Chroma website, banner is the content, yes or no? Banner is the content, yes or no?
Yes, Chenna.
Yes, these are all the content. So therefore, you take any e-commerce site, there will be content. Then to manage this content, you need one tool that's called Smart Edit. That's called Smart Edit. So in a simple word, after installation, we get a Smart Edit. Then tell me what the purpose of Smart Edit? What is the purpose
Manage
of
the content.
So from there, you can manage the content. So that means from there, I can change this banner, change this content, and so on, so on, so. So therefore, after installation, we can get another tool called Smart Edit for content purpose. See this one, Smart Edit for content purpose, Product Cockpit for product purpose. Next. So we also get some more tools here. You can see in the back office. Let's go to back office once. If you go to back office, you can see some more additional tools. So you can see there is an adaptive search. There will be ASM like that. Okay, adaptive search. These are all we will discuss in detail. Then there is ASM, like that we get a bunch of the tools after installation. Like that we get a bunch of the tools after installation. That's it here. Like this we get a bunch of the tools after installation. We will go through these tools one by one. We will understand in detail.